In the last 24 hours, the football world has been rocked to its core. Real Madrid has officially sacked Xabi Alonso. After just 7 months, the chosen one, the man who was supposed to be the heir to the tactical throne, is out. But don't be fooled. It wasn't just that painful 3-2 loss to Barcelona in the Super Cup that did it. It was something much deeper. We're talking about a viral video that captured a total breakdown in authority, a dressing room rebellion led by the most powerful names in the sport, and a leaked phone call between Florentino Perez and Jose Mourinho that changed everything. Today, we are going deep. We're breaking down the timeline of the collapse, the guard of honor incident that acted as the final nail in the coffin, and why the man they just hired, the new Mourinho, might be exactly what Mbappe and Vinicius asked for. You won't believe what actually happened in the tunnels of Jeddah after the cameras stopped rolling. It all started on Sunday night in Saudi Arabia. King Abdullah Sports City was packed for the Spanish Super Cup final. Real Madrid vs Barcelona. The stakes couldn't be higher. Real were on a 5-game winning streak, but Humsi Flick's Barca were clinical. Rafinha was a nightmare for the Madrid defense, scoring twice and controlling the wings like he owned them. Despite a late push and goals from Vinicius Jr and the breakout youngster Gonzalo Garcia, Madrid fell 3-2. But look at the stats, this is what infuriated the board. Real Madrid, the kings of Europe, allowed Barcelona to hold 79% possession at one point in the second half. They weren't just beaten, they were played off the park. Florentino Perez was seen in the VIP box, not just angry, but silent. Reports from Marca suggest he didn't even go down to the dressing room after the game. He stayed in his seat for 20 minutes, staring at the pitch. While the world was watching the scoreboard, a much more dangerous situation was developing on the touchline involving Xabi's relationship with his biggest stars. While everyone is talking about Mbappe, the real, silent killer of Alonso's tenure was his relationship with Vinicius Jr. Leaks from the Valdebebas training ground suggest that Vini and Xabi hadn't spoken properly in weeks. It started back in October when Alonso substituted Vinicius in the 70th minute of a tight game, and it peaked in Jeddah. Vini was reportedly heard shouting at the bench during the second half, complaining about the rigid, tactical structure. Alonso wanted Vini to track back and defend in a low block. Vini wanted the freedom that Carlo Ancelotti gave him. When you have the world's best winger feeling shackled, the board notices. Sources say Perez received a text from a senior player's agent that night saying, "The manager is the problem, not the players." Then came the moment that destroyed the internet. As the final whistle blew and Barcelona began to celebrate, Xabi Alonso, ever the gentleman, wanted his team to show class. He began physically ushering his players back onto the pitch to form a pasillo, or a guard of honor, for the champions. But Kylian Mbappe wasn't having it. Leaked footage from the pitch shows Mbappe visibly objecting, gesturing wildly at Alonso. He reportedly told the manager, "We don't honor them here." The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. This wasn't just about a guard of honor, it was a public display of, who is the boss. When Mbappe turned his back on Alonso and walked into the tunnel, leading a group of 4 other players with him, the Alonso era was effectively over. He had lost the locker room on live television. Now, here is where the theories get interesting. Some international journalists, including those close to the Leverkusen camp, suggest Xabi Alonso wasn't just sacked, he might have walked. The theory is that Xabi realized that Galactico ego was impossible to manage under his tactical philosophy. Unlike Ancelotti, who was a player's manager, Xabi is a tactician. He demands 100% adherence to his system. When he saw Mbappe and Vini ignoring his instructions in the Super Cup, he reportedly told his coaching staff in the locker room, "I can't teach those who don't want to learn." Cadena Cope reported that Alonso didn't even argue during his 45-minute meeting with Perez on Monday. He knew the bridge was burned. Within 60 minutes of the mutual consent announcement, Madrid dropped the bombshell, Alvaro Arbeloa is the new head coach. And this is where it gets tactical. Arbeloa isn't just a former player, he is a discipline fanatic. In Spain, they are already calling him the new Jose Mourinho. He uses drones to film every angle of training. He uses AI to track player fatigue. But most importantly, he is a Florentino Perez loyalist. While Alonso was a football purist, Arbeloa is a Madrid purist. He believes in the win-at-all-costs mentality. The rumor? Arbeloa was chosen because he is the only one brave enough to bench a superstar if they don't follow orders. He spent years under Mourinho, learning how to handle a fractured locker room. His first game is Wednesday against Albacete in the Copa del Rey. It's a low-stakes game on paper, but if he doesn't dominate, the pressure will be unlike anything he's ever felt. There's one more secret weapon Arbeloa is bringing back to the forefront: Antonio Pintus. Under Alonso, there were whispers that the players felt overtrained and sluggish. Arbeloa has reportedly given Pintus total control over the physicality of the squad again. This is a direct signal to the players that vacation is over. We are going back to the hyper-intense, physical Madrid that won the 15th and 16th Champions Leagues. So, let's look at the big picture. Was Xabi Alonso treated fairly? He had a 70% win rate, the 5th best in club history. He beat Atletico in the semi-finals just days before. But at Real Madrid, your win rate doesn't matter if you lose the clout battle. The theory going around Madrid right now is that the club has entered the player power era. Mbappe's Instagram tribute was nice. He said it was a pleasure to learn, but his actions on the pitch told a different story. If Arbeloa fails to close the 4-point gap with Barca, we might see the most chaotic summer in Madrid history. What do you think? Did Mbappe really pull the trigger on Xabi Alonso's career? And is a disciplinarian like Arbeloa the right move, or should they have gone for someone like Zinedine Zidane for a third time? Drop your theories in the comments.